Well, hello everyone and happy Monday. It is digital host A.J. Wuest welcoming you all back to Before the Four, where I go through 48's top stories and then some before our 4 p.m. newscast. And if you're new to Before the Four, I just want to welcome you. Thank you for spending a little bit of your Monday afternoon with me. And of course, if you are returning to Before the Four, I appreciate you all spending just a little bit of your afternoon with me. Now, I think it is time we jump into today's top stories. And of course, starting things off, today we are working to learn more about a Madison shooting that occurred on July 3rd. A man was arrested Saturday in connection to that shooting. Police say the incident happened on Miller Boulevard, where 18-year-old Christopher Somm was charged with the murder of 18-year-old Brian Wiggins Jr. of Decatur. Somm was booked into the Madison County Jail. Of course, 48's Callie Neese is in Decatur today working to learn as much as she can about this shooting, and she will have further updates for you all coming up at 4. And now an update on a recycling truck that slammed into a house in Madison Friday morning. The homeowner says his family is okay and they are currently staying in a hotel. He says that his dogs are all safe as well. The wreck happened in the area of Grayson Avenue and Sullivan Street in Madison. Now, Don Webster with Himsey said the truck driver was transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. 3 other cars were also damaged in the truck. Republic Services say they are happy everyone is okay and they want to do everything that they can to help assist the family. And now an update on a very sad situation from last week where family members of Violet Satterfield, she is the 2-year-old girl who was found dead in an Arab pool, they are preparing to say goodbye to their child. Now, Violet's mother, Rebecca Satterfield, posted this statement here that you see on screen on Facebook yesterday. Violet Satterfield has been fighting for her life since July 1st after the Arab Fire Department was called to a possible drowning near Almond Drive around 7 p.m. Violet was rushed to the Marshall County Medical Center before later being transported to Birmingham. Satterfield also stated that her daughter snuck outside to go for a swim without her floaties. Police are urging parents to be extra cautious in the wake of recent drownings that have occurred in North Alabama lately. Now, a GoFundMe has been started for this family, and as of yesterday, $28,000 had already been raised. But you can find the full GoFundMe page on our website on WAFF.com if you feel led to donate. Now in the Shoals, 48's Aria Pond, she will be reporting on a Chisholm Heights Water Authority story after several customers are frustrated following the boil water notice in effect in the Zip City community. Aria will have updates on this situation coming up in our evening newscast, so make sure you all stick around for any updates she might have. Now, a story in Fort Payne, where one man is still recovering after authorities say he was injured after taking a 40-foot fall at Little River Canyon Falls Park. According to our news partners at the DeKalb County Daily News, the incident happened yesterday evening. Fisher Rescue, along with Fort Payne Fire, Adamsburg Fire, National Park, and DeKalb Ambulance Services all responded to this scene. Authorities say the victim was a 21-year-old man from Trenton, Georgia. Now in Madison County, Gurley police say one is in jail after a stabbing occurred Saturday night. Police say they responded to a domestic call on Section Line Road around 6:45 Saturday evening. When they arrived on scene, they say one man had been stabbed. The man was taken to the hospital where he was treated with non-life-threatening injuries. He has since been released, and police say the suspect has been detained, interviewed, and arrested. However, they are not releasing any names at this time. And in Decatur, a man who was originally charged with capital murder pled guilty to a lesser charge today. Shannon Thomas, which is who you see on screen there, was charged with capital murder after a 4th of July shooting back in 2020. Now, this shooting left 16-year-old Amari Delaney dead. Today, Thomas pled guilty to illegally possessing a firearm. He will serve a 15-year sentence. Now, in case you missed it, after several recent incidents near the Bankhead Parkway and Gaslight Way, which is on the Monte Sano Mountain, including 18-year-old Aiden James Higdon, some are urging more warning signs in the area. 48's Daquan Lee has this story.
In Huntsville, Bankhead Parkway is a major connector between the homes in Huntsville and the beauty of Montesano's hiking trails. But it's a winding, twisting, and narrow road, and drivers are often sharing the road with cyclists and wildlife.
We've seen numerous wrecks here on the Parkway. We've seen a couple right here at the monument at the entrance. We hear brakes skid all the time, and it just seems like through the years it's getting a whole lot worse.
Ava Terry has lived on the mountain for years and even used to cycle up and down Bankhead too. Now she avoids it outright because of how dangerous the traffic is to her.
It makes me very anxious. I feel like I'm the one that's causing the backup in the traffic going up the mountain, and of course I am.
She points to constant speeders flying up and down the mountain as the most dangerous hazard for drivers and cyclists. Other neighbors declined going on camera, but most of them echoed what Terry told me. Terry says she and other neighbors have gone to the city about adding more signs to the road to protect everyone.
We've even all thought about getting those signs and putting in our yards that say school zone or school children crossing or something like that. Yeah, we've thought about putting those because we have construction vehicles up and down Gaslight all the time too.
With new homes being developed at the base of Montesano, she's worried things will only get worse as new drivers unfamiliar with Bankhead move in. In Huntsville, Daquan Lee, 48 on your side.
Thank you, Daquan. And now in Owen Crossroads, where a police officer saved 2 dogs over the weekend. Officer Kevin Graves had a very busy weekend as he rescued 2 different dogs on 2 different occasions. The first rescue happened on Friday. Graves, along with other first responders, rushed to a house fire on Cave Spring Circle. Graves then went into the burning house and rescued the dog before performing CPR on it, which saved the dog's life. The second rescue occurred less than 24 hours later when he saw a dog tied up and left for dead, also in Owen Crossroads. Now, the second dog he saved has already been adopted. Graves says that he just happened to be at the right place at the right time. And 48 Sarah Grace Kennedy spoke with Officer Graves, and let's take a listen to what he had to say about the weekend rescues.
Just seeing the dog helpless, and it was at one point lifeless, I've got to get to it. I've got to help it. It's a life, and I've got to save it. And we're not in the business to only help people, but animals too. And if we can save that animal, just like a person, that's great. And that way that the owner can reunite with that animal. That is considered their loved one. So that's what he told us. So it felt good.
Such a great story there. I love that so much. And now in some state news, families in Birmingham remembered their loved ones with a balloon release this weekend after those loved ones fell victim to gun violence. Now the families are pleading for gun violence to cease. WBRC reports.
You're not just taking one lives, but you're taking many. All the people who were connected to her then and now is still a missing piece that can never be filled.
That emptiness, present now for 20 years. Loved ones of Crystal Bennett commemorating her life and legacy this week with a balloon release.
July 4th, 2004, my daughter and her girlfriend were at a gas station and they were caught in a crossfire of guys shooting. Both girls died with 1 bullet.
Unfortunately, similar stories are far too common. Parents grieving the loss of their children.
And my son Rodriguez, he was an innocent bystander at a birthday party. He was inside his car. He had just pulled up to try and go inside the party, and some guys got into a fight out there and started shooting.
My son, Sincere, as everyone calls him, CJ, was shot at a gas station. It was some type of altercation with him and another guy.
The number of gun violence victims in Birmingham growing daily.
We just want this to stop. We want to see our children get old. We're not supposed to bury our children.
And all these moms are taking their own pain and turning it into purpose.
And the purpose is trying to help other mothers survive the loss, because it is the leading cause of death in our young people.
Though they're gone, these victims live on through others who keep their legacies and memories close.
Everybody that he came in contact with, he made a lasting impression in their lives.
He was a very quiet, bashful young man, but his smile would just light up the room.
That's what she lived for, is to bring joy to other people. Her name was actually Crystal Joy Bennett, and she lived up to her name well.
Please stop. We need our family members. We need our daughters who will be future mothers, future wives. We need our sons who will be future fathers, future husbands. We need them.
Well, thank you. Well, hurricane season is certainly underway as Beryl is making its way through Texas as we speak. But this hurricane season also serves as a reminder for one Louisiana city after Hurricane Laura back in 2020 wreaked havoc on a key building in the city. Let's watch.
These are pictures of the Capital One Tower I took a week ago today when I was home for my niece's wedding. It's a casualty of Hurricane Laura. This is video of the glass blowing out as the Category 4 storm made landfall in late August 2020. For nearly 4 years, the back and forth over what to do with the iconic Lake Charles building has been a constant reminder of the storm and an eyesore.
When you're going past the freeway, you just see this desolate building that's been sitting out there, and you don't really see that there's actually a nice city down below that you can come in and shop and eat and actually have a little bit of a nightlife.
Locals were optimistic it could be refurbished.
Depressing and everything to see it's not being worked on or anything. We have been getting a lot of good work and stuff doing for us when the hurricane hit us and everything. But I just believe that this building represents a big part of Lake Charles and everything, and I think it should be doing something with it.
From icon to eyesore, the city announcing in May the building will be demolished. Lake Charles Mayor Nick Hunter ready to move forward.
When I am driving developers around downtown Lake Charles, ones that are not even interested in the tower, who don't even know about the tower, I have to point at that thing and explain what it is and why it is the way it is. And I'm very much looking forward to the day where I don't have to do that anymore.
Demolition crews began some of the work last week. The closer it gets to coming down, Southwest Louisiana getting sentimental about what was once the jewel of the Lake Charles skyline. Judge Ron Richard remembers when it was built.
There was all this buzz around town, and for a little 9, 10-year-old kid from Lake Charles, you know, I thought that meant we were going to be like Houston. You know, we had our first skyscraper, and of course, by the time I was an old man like I am now, there was going to be, you know, 15 of these buildings downtown, this big metropolis and stuff. So it was like one of those things you remember from childhood that you really remember that.
As an attorney, Richard would later have his office there. While he's nostalgic about it, he realizes it's time to take it down.
And I like to look at it not as a sad end of something, but I like to see it as a beautiful rebirth of our city, signifying the next steps. Because in 5 years, remember, you know, the money's coming in from the government now, from the insurance. This city is going to be a different place, a beautiful place.
Lee Peck, Fox 10 News.
Well, thank you, Lee. We are now in the dog days of summer, and many of us might be outside soaking up this hot weather. However, it is also extremely important to remember to stay safe out there. That means sunscreen, bug spray, and of course, hydration. CVS pharmacist Amy Lynn Safety has everything you need to know about how to have a safe, fun summer. Let's listen.
Hi, I'm CVS pharmacist Dr. Amy Lynn Safety, here to talk to you about some of the most common summer ailments that patients would be experiencing in the summertime and how to best treat them. So one of the most common things that we need to worry about this summer is staying safe from the sun. And one of the best ways to prevent a sunburn is to apply sunscreen. It's so important to make sure we're applying sunscreen every day, whether it's cloudy or sunny. You could still get a sunburn even if it's cloudy outside. So you want to make sure to use an SPF of at least 30 and remember to reapply. The key to sunscreen is reapplication every 90 minutes in order for it to be effective. Now, when it comes to other things that might bother us in the summertime, there's definitely an increase in bugs and critters that might bite us while we're outside enjoying our summer fun. So if you do get a bug bite or mosquito bite, it's really important to remember not to scratch it. I know it might be hard because they're so itchy, but if we scratch the skin, you run the risk of opening up the skin, which could cause an infection. So the best way to prevent that is to stop the itch. And we have a bunch of different options available over the counter when it comes to preventing itch. So we have calamine lotion or hydrocortisone cream, just to name a few, and they're great things to keep in your medicine cabinet all year round, but especially during the summertime. So once you apply that to the bites, it can help to soothe that itch so they can start healing itself. Now, when it comes to plants in the summertime, so when you're outside hiking, you might come in contact with poison ivy or poison oak. So it's a good idea to pick up some CVS poison ivy wash and keep it in your medicine cabinet. And it's specially formulated to remove that oil from the skin so the skin can start to heal and you'll start feeling better. While we're out and about having fun in the sun in the summertime, we are sweating a lot. And when that happens, you're losing all your body's natural electrolytes. So it's really important to drink water, and you might want to supplement it with some electrolyte liquid, tablets, or powders in your water. That way you can replenish those important electrolytes that are being lost while you're sweating. If viewers have more questions, please sure to visit your local CVS pharmacist. We're here and trained to help you have a healthy summer.
Well, thank you, Amy. Now a really cool story as a Mobile, Alabama man discovered a Naval Academy ring that had been missing for over 50 years. Now he is returning it to the hands of its owner. Let's watch.
A recent trip to the Uniontown Country Club in Pennsylvania ended a lot better than expected for Michael Zennert. Near the fourth hole, Zennert says he went to putt and found what he thought was a bottle cap lodged in the ground.
So I thought, okay, dig it out so nobody steps on it or nobody runs over it, gets a flat tire, whatever. And that's when this came up. And I looked at it and it says 1964 U.S. Naval Academy.
The inside of the ring has an inscription that reads U.S. Marine Corps David W. Lorenzo. Zennert says with the help of a friend, he found Lorenzo on a video podcast, then followed the trail, finding out he lived in Pensacola and served in Vietnam as a U.S. Marine fighter pilot. Once Zennert got in touch with Lorenzo, he learned even more about the ring and how it was lost.
About 6 years after I graduated, I was playing golf with my dad down in Uniontown at the course, and I lost it, and I was devastated. I said, just a minute. Are you saying that that ring has been lost in that golf course for some 54 years? He says, yeah. I couldn't believe that.
Despite being stuck in the ground for over 50 years, the ring, surprisingly, is still in pretty good shape.
I would have thought the stone would have come off, or it would have been pounded, or something like that. I thought it had only been there for a week or a month, or maybe lost last year. And the course said that they had never had anybody looking for a ring. Well, yeah, after 54 years, somebody would give up.
Zennert said Lorenzo was relieved to hear his ring had been found and is looking forward to getting it back soon.
He was devastated when he lost it because his father, I believe, is no longer with him. And, he was so proud. And he got a replacement, but nothing like the real thing. So he was excited about it. And I says, yeah, it's something that holds a lot of memories.
Well, isn't that super cool? And also, I just noticed we have a comment here on Facebook, if you're watching on Facebook. Roberta Smart, of course, as she said, good evening. Good evening, Roberta. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had an awesome holiday weekend. Yeah, feel free to leave a comment if you feel led to. We try to keep this live stream super interactive. And we stream on YouTube, Facebook, and of course the 48 live stream page on the digital app. I'm mostly watching the YouTube comment, or not the YouTube comments, the Facebook comments, and that's where I see Roberta right here. But yeah, feel led to leave a comment if you feel led to. Now let's head into stories you're just not going to want to miss. Now, firefighters save a barn from going ablaze as fireworks blasted off. The latest on a new free-to-teach program here in the Tennessee Valley, and of course a story about a Louisiana man running into a burning home to save an 80-year-old veteran. These are all some of the stories you're just not going to want to miss in tonight's evening newscast. And will there be more rain coming to the Tennessee Valley? Make sure you stick around for 48's first alert forecast to see what the weather might look like for the rest of the week. Now let's head into my favorite part of the day. And if you are returning to Before the Four, this is not your first rodeo. You know exactly what is about to come. And of course, this will be the Facebook Fun segment. If you're new to Before the Four, we try to ask a question on Facebook every single day, and you all typically respond very accordingly. The responses we got to today's question absolutely blew my mind. I believe last I checked, there were over 800 different comments. So you guys definitely responded very accordingly today. But let's jump into today's question. What did we ask? We said, sound off, inflation continues to affect the price of groceries. And ain't that the truth? How are you keeping your grocery bill down? For me, I'm not buying near as many groceries as I was buying when I first moved here about 5 months ago. But yeah, the groceries are extremely expensive. I'm typically only buying the essentials. But let's see what you all had to say. Christy Smith said, meal planning and looking for sales. That is a very smart thing to do. I need to get better at that personally. I do not plan any of my meals. I just kind of like, what am I feeling? I feel like I eat the same 3 meals throughout the week. It's usually some chicken, some burgers, and it all comes from the frozen food section. So I think that is a great idea. Planning, never a bad idea. So Christy, thank you so much for commenting. I will actually take some of your advice. And looking for sales, I need to start collecting some coupons. I'm just looking for different sales around. I feel like that will go a long way. Vicky Fowler, she said, homegrown and can my own. That is also a very smart thing to do. You don't have to buy produce because you are growing it yourself and canning it yourself. That should definitely save you some money down the line. But Vicky, thank you so much for commenting. That is definitely a great idea. Let's see, Tom and Mary Lou Smith, they said that they eat all of their leftovers or freeze it if possible. Nothing goes to waste. That is definitely a great idea. I know sometimes you don't want to eat those extra leftovers. They're like, the second day it's not as good as it was the first day, but I think that's a good idea. Like, you take home some leftovers or you cook a big dish and you have dinners for maybe the next night or 2 or maybe even 3. But yeah, I think that is a great idea. Thank you so much for commenting. And Shelby said she keeps her grocery bill down by keeping her fridge empty. Yeah, that is one way you can keep your grocery bill down, Shelby. But Shelby, thank you so much for commenting. But anyway, that is about all the time I have in today's Before the Four. I want to thank you so much for sticking around and spending a little bit of your Monday afternoon with me. You all enjoyed tonight's evening newscast. Make sure you stick around for it. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you download the 48 digital app as well as the 48 First Alert weather app. And we now have a 48 Sports Zone app for any Sports Zones fans out there, or for any sports fans out there. But turn on those push notifications and get the breaking news delivered directly to you. But with all that said, I hope y'all have a great night. And of course, thanks for watching. Y'all have a great night.